My client would like to read a statement, and then we will be answering questions.
She's gonna do it. She's gonna name him.
My name is Shelley Mack, and I was 14 years old when I attended Ambleton School, a place that was supposed to offer me a fresh start. Instead, it was hell on earth. Myself and others were sexually and physically abused by grown-ups who were supposed to take care of us. Grown-ups we trusted. Grown-ups who violated that trust. Including my abusers were Desmond Cage, the former Deputy Minister of Education, and Premier William Steed.
First it was fun, then it was rape, now it's the premier?
Premier Steed and Desmond Cage go way back.
Harper's right. There's no question Steed could have visited his old pal at Ambleton.
To perform sexual acts for their pleasure. Along with the repeated rapes, our current premier also forced myself and others to drink blood, to lie naked in a pentagram, and to take part in the sacrificing of animals. These satanic rituals continued for over a year, during which time I continually begged for them to stop.
Premier Satanist. Jesus, that's really gonna work for us.
I think she just overplayed her hand.
And dealt us out while she was at it.
This is fantastic. 2 hours after Shelley goes on TV and every nut job in town's coming to cash in on Premier Satan.
It's a good thing we got Cage's confession before Shelley Mack opened her mouth.
When she came in here with a photograph of Steed and Cage, she was telling the truth. It wasn't until she saw the dollar signs that her story started spinning out of control.
Are we really talking about this? The Premier is a murderer?
Works for me. Cage is always blaming something on a dead Sam Drainey. He copped to a lesser charge to not only save his butt, but his buddy Steed.
What are you doing here?
Saw the news conference, thought you guys could use an extra pair of hands.
No, thanks, but I think we got it under control.
Well, just remember that we civilians don't have the same restrictions as you cops.
Okay, I think we can remember that.
Besides, I just stopped by to pick up my vacation pay. Seriously.
Okay. Say Cage's line about Sam Drainey. The moment he and Steed line their stories up, we're done.
Yeah, that's why we have to keep Cage and Steed apart.
How do you propose we do that?
Cage's bail hearing's in about 30 minutes. I'm gonna talk to the Crown and see if she can persuade the judge to keep him an extra day. Why don't you go over the Ambleton files again and see if Steed's name's in there anywhere?
I'm on it.
Keep it quiet.
Me?
Might be a good idea to get Cage's reaction to this latest revelation.
Okay.
You can't be serious. Blood drinking? Satanic ritual, please.
What I heard was a girl saying that your friend William Steed was involved. Not Sam Drainey, as you claimed.
Who are you going to believe? Someone who's obviously confessing to cash in, or someone like me who
What?
who's lost everything?
Tell me something, Mr. Cage, if you're in my shoes. Wouldn't you find Sam Drainey's involvement a little convenient?
You people are paid to be suspicious of everything. It's a hell of a way to go through life.
Was William Steed involved in any way?
No. He never even came to the school.
Mickey, I need to talk to you.
I'm kind of busy, Christine.
Well, I just want to know, how long are you going to be tearing my head off? I figured I'd better pace myself.
All right. You want to talk? You've been doing your best to show me up ever since you began that forensics course.
Just because I want to make something of my life, it doesn't mean it's a personal attack. Okay, I figured you of all people would get that.
Regardless, I don't need my friends embarrassing me.
You're not upset that some friend has embarrassed you. You're pissed off that some secretary did.
The judge stalled Cage's bail until tomorrow afternoon.
Not a lot of time.
Well, I doubt we have much of a shot at Steve now anyway.
You think Steve's innocent?
My gut says he's involved.
And why are you backing off?
Because no Crown is going to take this case based on Shelley Mack's testimony.
Then you find something else.
We should follow through on this.
What does your gut tell you to do?
Hey.
Hey.
I want to talk to you about something.
Me too. I dug up some more information about that key ring that you found in the Love Shack. A used car dealer in Hazleton gave them out between 80 and 81.
What about the keys?
They belong to a mid-80s car. We may be able to figure out make and model, but they were too rusted out to come up with a specific trace.
Damn.
Sorry. Why'd you want to ask me?
You're friendly with Coroner's office, right?
Yeah.
Their budget just got up to make some new hires. What about Christine?
What, are you trying to get rid of her?
Something like that.
I'll make a call.
Now, Premier Steed learned about the allegations during a live taping of the Vicky Gaboreau talk show.
Well, actually, as you know, I've been accused of many things during my career, but I have to say, the allegations coming from this young woman, I think she's taken lessons from the honorable opposition in low blows.
Yeah, but I have to say, Mr. Premier, with all respect, I'm very, very much more upset than you seem to be if I'd been accused of being a rapist and a murderer.
Oh, well, you're leaving out a Satanist.
You guy's a cool customer, isn't he?
No. You know, I try to look on the upside of things, and if there's any upside to this, it's the fact that my daughter can point to me and say, look, my old man's weirder than Marilyn Manson. But, you know, all kidding aside, I think that we've got a great case for libel here. Although, having seen my accuser, I'm not certain that she could actually take me out for a cup of coffee, let alone $1 million lawsuit.
Well, I
Sort of sorry I didn't vote for him now.
Oh, yeah. It's not every day you get to endorse a child molester, is it?
Take a bite out of your salary, wouldn't it?
Hey.
Hey,
Just on my way out.
what you up to?
Ashley. You remember the massage therapist I sent you to?
Yeah. The miracle worker. I should see her about my back.
Why, is that still bothering you?
Yeah.
Well, you should call her.
Yeah, I should.
Hey, you want to,
I slept with Ivan. The Russian guy?
Oh, yeah. I know who he is.
That's no excuse or anything, but we had a bit of a thing at one point.
No. Don't worry about it.
You're not surprised?
No, I had an idea.
Oh. I don't feel very good about this.
Allie, look, we never talked about exclusivity.
I guess I thought it was implied.
Well, if it wasn't, you wouldn't have screwed him. Right? Look, unless, we're going to have some sort of commitment, then I figure we're free agents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be late, so, you know what? You can hang out here if you want, okay? Or call me later.
You are just going for a massage, right? Polachuk has given us the green light to look into Steed's involvement, if we want it.
I say we go for it.
No argument here.
Okay. Cage is going to be released in just over 8 hours. I say we start with the statements we got yesterday.
The crazy people?
The very same. I think we might find something. I'm going to talk to Shelley Mack, see if I can't rescue her story somehow.
Anyone see Savalas today?
He doesn't work there anymore, remember?
No, I remember. Seems like he's the one with amnesia. Premier's office called, said a certain former detective shouldered his way into the office, started questioning the staff. And when the Premier arrived, he started accusing him of hiding behind Desmond Cage, yelling at him to admit to what he did.
Well, he did say that he'd enjoy certain privileges as a private citizen that we cops couldn't.
Anything else like this, he'll be arrested. And he hardly needs that kind of attention after what's happened.
I can talk to him.
Nah, it's okay. I'll talk to him. Are you turning this back into a storage room?
Not just yet.
Good. See ya.
Satanic cults, pentagrams, what were you thinking? You know, this is a serious investigation. What about your friend Andrea Wilkie? Or Michelle Ripley? They're dead. And thanks to your little stunt, we may not find out why.
Look, what do you want from me?
The truth?
What, do you want me to say I lied? What's the point? No one believed me anyway.
I believed you. You were really there. You saw Steve, didn't you?
Yeah, well, you don't exactly look like a payday to me, if you know what I mean.
He murdered them. And he's gonna get away with it. Is that what you want?
Shut the door. Premier's office called here.
Yeah, I figured that.
The bullshit ends now. You want to drag yourself down, go ahead. But we all closed ranks behind you after what happened. And if your behavior starts attracting attention, you could drag all of us down with you.
Steed's involved with this.
You're not a cop anymore, Nico. That ended when you threw the pimp out the window.
Just not sure how to be anything else. I have dreams about her, you know. Andrea Wilkie. That school, it's like a virus. It just keeps killing people. I want to stop it. I can help.
You want to help? Then let us do our job.
Thanks a lot.
I got something interesting.
Yeah?
I was talking to a guy I know Steve from his university days. Says they used to plant trees together.
So Steve was a closet environmentalist?
He says he had to pull Steve off a girl one night. It was starting to look like a rape in the making. Now, he doesn't remember the woman's name, but he says that, he basically talked about filing an assault charge.
Oh, what a hero.
But check this out. Guess where he and Steve were planting trees? Hazelton.
Hazelton? When?
Early 80s.
Cage said that was his neck of the woods.
It's funny how he never mentioned that his buddy Steve had worked in the area.
Yeah, and Laura said that keyring was made in 80-81.
So Steve's cash rich. After summer tree planting, he goes out and buys himself a new set of wheels.
And a few years later, he loses that keyring at Ambleton.
Nico was right. Cage threw us Draney to protect his boss.
The tree planter's making a statement?
Yeah, as we speak.
Let's hope he sticks to it.
How'd your meeting with Shelley go?
Well, I hooked her up with a columnist from the province. Says she can write a story that'll make her sound like the abused kid she is.
Is it enough to do damage control?
It's a start.
So what we've got in the end is a guy who says that Steve was prone to sexual violence, a key ring that might put him in the love shack, and a witness that says he participated in underage sex parties.
And Cage pinning it on Draney while he oh so lightly implicates himself. Christine's looking through the archives for the last 30 years, see if she can find Steve's name anywhere.
Hey. Allie, can I talk to you?
Sure.
Michelle's parents gave us those letters, right?
Yeah.
What about Billy?
Well, his stepmom burned his, remember?
When he escaped from Ambleton, he must have left some stuff behind. Where'd it go?
I just remembered something about Andrea Wilkie.
Nico, you've got to let this go. Andrea was not stable.
But she went to Ambleton. And this just hit me. The day she slit her wrists, William Steed was elected.
Nico.
Imagine hearing about Steed, and he's done this to you. And he's on top of the world, and all you've got is your crummy little apartment and your shitty job, and you...
How are things with your friend?
She checked into a recovery house. She calls me every night. She sounds good. Thanks for asking.
How about you?
I don't know. I just wish I could help you guys.
So do I, but...
I know. I'd take the evidence.
When we close this case, Nico, we'll be closing it. Don't worry.
Thank you very much.
So, what does Dad of the Year have to say?
Mr. Wells said that Ambleton forwarded a box of Billy's belongings back when the school closed 9 years ago.
Yeah, does he have it?
His ex-wife sent it back, returned to sender.
And of course, Sender's no longer there.
You know, Dead Letters Office probably received it in the end.
Then I guess we know what we're doing. Let's go.
Did you find anything?
Actually, yeah. 25 years ago, he was brought in on suspicion of sexual assault.
Surprised that didn't show up on our computers.
Well, he was a juvenile. Besides, no one ever charged him with it. Check this out. Once upon a time, our premier was on the receiving end of an ass-kicking. Never found anyone to charge with it.
Broken teeth, broken nose, broken ribs, Jesus.
Check out the time and place when he filled out the report.
Burnaby General, 3:30 a.m.
December 17th, 1987.
That's the same day Michelle Ripley and Billy Wells were reported missing.
And Burnaby General is the closest hospital to Ambleton.
We hold auctions every 5 years for the stuff that nobody claims.
This would have been sent back 9 years ago.
So does that mean somebody bought it?
That, or it was destroyed. Either way, if it arrived here, it's recorded there.
And if it was sold?
Oh, there's probably some way to track it. It's not my department.
How is it it's only the postal workers doing the shooting?
According to the post office, it's your office that coordinates the auctions.
And would have any records of sale?
9 years ago? You gotta be kidding.
Does it look like we're kidding?
Here's the docket number for the package we're looking for.
There's no way it's gonna be in here.
Yeah, well, just look it up. Tight.
What'd I tell you? Nada.
So how do we find out what happened to it?
I'd say you're at the end of the road, champ.
What?
Or you could try the auctioneer.
Okay, Dead Letters auction, May 5th, 1993. What did you say that number was again?
BR 1251.
You're in luck.
That's a nice change.
Buyer's Marlene Tower.
Marlene regular?
Real regular.
He was a politician back then, too. The way he played his cards with us.
It says in the report that you questioned him for assault.
Yeah, assault was a catch-all phrase in those days.
And today?
You'd call it date rape.
What happened?
Young girl, about 16. She said no. He didn't listen. The way I remembered it, her parents talked her out of pressing charges. Hard to get a rape conviction 25 years ago.
But you're pretty sure he did it.
The doctor who examined the girl said she'd been a virgin. Her first date with our new premier took care of that.
I have an addiction. Now, it's not going to kill me, but it might drive me out of my house.
Some of these boxes aren't even opened.
Well, the thrill is in the deal.
Where should we start?
9 years? I'd start at the back. Yes. This, I think this is the best room. Now, I'll fix some coffee for you. Oh, I should mention, I have other rooms like this.
He has a history of sexual assault. We have an eyewitness who can place him in the love shack.
A first-year law student could destroy her testimony.
It might be anecdotal, but it builds a picture of who this man really is.
And that is?
A violent sexual offender who prefers to attack little girls who can't fight back.
What about the car keys?
They can't trace them, but he was in Hazleton the year the key ring was made. Apparently the dealer made 1,000.
Oh, good. So when 1,000.
Oh, with everything else, Andy, I'm willing to take those odds. Cage is making bail as we speak. This is our last shot, Andy.
Okay, bring him in. But do it under the guise of questioning him about Cage.
Okay.
And be careful. This is one of your make-or-break cases, Allie. This is one that destroys either him
Or me. I know. Thank you.
Right.
We gotta step it up. Cage should be getting out soon.
Opened package.
Wedding present.
Right. They probably got 5 of these.
Do anything for you?
Don't tease me.
I made some more coffee.
Bless you, my good woman.
And your friend brought donuts.
Allie said you guys are on a tight schedule.
You shouldn't be here, you know?
I'm not. Your friend Polachuk, on the other hand, is definitely here. Is that all right?
Grab a box.
A surprise? Well, that's certainly one way to put it. But you have to understand, Allie, that Desmond and I have known each other since we were teenagers. Known everything about each other.
Doesn't make you see your friendship with him in a different light.
I suppose it will when I get over the shock.
Tell me, on your visits to the school, did he ever appear distracted or stressed?
I never saw him distracted.
Then you admit to visiting him at the school?
I don't recall saying that I visited.
Sure as hell didn't disagree with me.
I'd say you're fishing, Sergeant.
Really? For what?
Let's go, Mr. Premier.
I didn't say this was over.
Well, unless you're arresting him, that's exactly what we're doing.
Okay then, have it your own way. William Steed, you're under arrest for the murder of Michelle Ripley.
Do you value your job, Sergeant?
Do you understand what you've just done?
My phone is ringing off the hook with reporters. The Attorney General's office is screaming because they weren't consulted. And any second now, Chief Perkins is going to walk in here, after which time I have to tell him I have every faith in your arrest of the goddamn premier.
It was a gamble.
It was a long shot at best.
Steed wasn't expecting it.
Neither was I.
Look, Andy, you told me to go with my gut, so I did. Now, his judgment is out of whack. He's vulnerable now. This is how we get him.
Get him with what?
With what he fears we might have.
He knows we've got nothing. He's seen Cage's file.
But there have been 2.5 days of investigation since then. We've managed to keep Steed and Cage apart since his confession. Now, this arrest bought us another day.
After which time, if you don't produce enough evidence to charge him with murder, we have to release him.
I know!
And when that happens, not only will all this be for naught, but you and I will be joining Savalas on the unemployment line. Oh, what the hell are you still doing standing here? The clock is ticking.
I don't know.
Colander. Hey, Allie. Jesus. Well, at least you bought us some time. All right. Allie arrested the premier.
She must be a hell of a poker player.
Yeah, except she's bluffing with what we haven't found yet.
I trust you realize, Sergeant, that 21 hours from now, when you fail to charge my client, you're going to be facing the mother of all defamation suits. You and Inspector Polachuk and Chief Perkins and anyone else who had anything to do with this.
Chief Perkins, I can't get too upset about.
This isn't a joke, Sergeant.
Neither is this charge.
We certainly won't treat it as one. But if you're willing to drop the charges now, and I mean right now, my client is willing to chalk up this heinous error to an overzealousness on your part.
Allie, friends of mine, other detectives, have told me how certain cases can affect your judgment. Cases involving children.
That's just this one girl, Michelle. She seems like the type of kid who ended up at Ambleton for the wrong reasons. This place was supposed to help her. It ended up killing her.
It's sad. It really is.
Well, I guess you're thinking it's sad because of Cage, because you identify with him. But for me, and this is where I lose all professionalism, I identify with the victim. She seemed a lot like me at that age.
Really?
Sergeant McCormick, are you prepared to release my client?
You know, almost every cop I know was a high school hellion. And I was no exception. My poor mother, she had to send me to private school to try and keep me in line.
Looks like it took.
I hated it. God, I hated it. In Latin classes, nuns with rulers, and those stupid uniforms, you know, with the short skirts and the knee-high socks. All-girl dormitories at a time when all you can think about is boys. Of course, Michelle didn't have that problem. She had all the attention from the boys, didn't she?
She did.
This isn't an interrogation.
Interrogation clock hasn't run out. He's been read his rights. His lawyer is here. You noticed her. Beautiful young girl, Michelle. You were there and you saw her.
I visited Des once or twice, yes. So what? There's no law against a man visiting his best friend.
Will.
And you and I both know, Sergeant, all youth has beauty. In fact, I'm willing to bet that even you were a beautiful young girl once.
Of course, Michelle was different, wasn't she, Mr. Premier? Because she didn't want to take part in your disgusting little parties, so you had to force her.
That is absurd.
She even tried to write home about it. That's why the gap in the letters, because you wanted to keep raping her. Because with Michelle, it was good. Because with Michelle, you had to get rough.
Sergeant, that's enough.
Return to sender.
What?
No longer at this address.
Which one?
It looks like blood.
We need it ID'd right away.
You can't be serious. I mean, I can perform a simple test to confirm that it's blood, but whose blood am I supposed to compare it with?
Premier Steed's.
Shit. There's no way she can identify it as Steed's.
There's not enough time to get a blood warrant.
Unless we find that bastard's tooth stuck in the toe, this is pretty much useless.
It's your call, McCormick. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna raise on a pair of threes. Nikki, I'm on it. You know what I love about the government, Mr. Premier? That age-old policy of CYA. Cover your ass. What other explanation is there for an organization that never throws anything out? Doesn't deep six old arrest reports. That's the one where you raped the 16-year-old girl. Must have known she was a virgin at the time, huh? Best part is, it never throws out old assault records. Like the time you showed up at the hospital, beaten, within an inch of your life. I saw the pictures, you know. You were a mess, Mr. Premier. And you know what I think about that? That it's just too darn bad. Billy Wells couldn't afford steel-toed boots, because then he would have finished the job.
Well, I'm glad you have such a high opinion of our government institutions, Sergeant, because their code of conduct is going to get you fired.
Don't forget the lawsuit.
You see that stain, don't you? That's blood. That's your client's blood. Young Billy kicked the shit out of him.
Be careful with accusations, Sergeant.
Well, I'm not accusing. I'm just telling the Premier here a story I heard. Billy and Michelle were in love. They were stuck in that terrible place, but they were all right because they were in love. And along comes Will Steed, Cage's best friend, with a taste for young girls and violence. Didn't take long before partying with girls who enjoyed it wasn't enough for him. Will wanted something more. Will wanted resistance. So, Headmaster Cage brings Michelle out to the Love Shack. Now, Michelle didn't mind a drink or two, but she didn't want to have anything to do with you. And that was just fine. Every time you came to visit, you had her brought out. Every time she fought you, but you wouldn't stop. And Billy knew, but there was little he could do except comfort her every time she came back. She tried to tell her parents, but your loyal friend took care of that. Rewrote her letters, so word never got out. Eventually, Michelle couldn't fight you anymore. She just drank herself into a stupor to deal with what you were doing to her. So you got rougher. And then you got too rough. Maybe you just didn't notice. So Des. Good old Des took care of things. Didn't he, Will?
Hello, Will.
Are you okay, Des?
You?
Oh, I'm fine. The sergeant here would like to trump up a little conspiracy.
It's true. I was looking for it. Thought I had one, too, with Draney and Myers, but that turns out to have been window dressing. Nope. The real conspiracy is between the two of you. Or was. I was just telling the Premier here about the part where Billy was waiting for Michelle. He always waited. Isn't that right? Because they were in love? Weren't they, Mr. Cage?
It seemed that way, yes.
Right. So when Michelle didn't come back that night, Billy knew who to look for. He found Michelle's rapist, and he attacked him. Right, Mr. Cage?
I already told you this.
That's right. You did tell me.
Des?
You can wait outside now. Thanks. Des.
Desmond, is there something you want to tell me?
No.
Bye for now. You know, he was so disappointed when he heard how quick you were to cut him loose. So, where were we? Billy says he's going to tell the cops. And that's when it happens. And after Draney kills Billy, he disposes of the bodies. Des realizes that two kids hopped the wall, but doesn't report that discovery until the next morning. And Billy and Michelle never come back. And the stuff gets packed up, dirt, blood, and all, into a box. And that's where the government comes through for us again, because they held on to that too, just long enough.
Nice story, Sergeant. Too bad you can't prove any of it.
Oh, but that's where you're wrong, you see?
And what is so funny?
Nothing funny here.
Well, then what the hell are you two smiling about? What is so funny?
Please, Will, just calm down.
You see, there's one thing that's perplexed us all during this entire investigation. Right, Sergeant McCormick?
Right. See, we couldn't for the life of us figure out how the hell you got home that night.
Must have looked all over for these. Did you know we could trace keys? Will? Amazing technology.
Lucky for us, someone held on to those too, huh?
Whatever Des told you, it was an accident. I didn't mean to do it.
William.
She was drunk! Okay, she was drunk! And I had nothing to do with the boy, nothing! Des swore he was gonna keep his mouth shut. He swore to me! He can always find other work. He can always do something. What am I gonna do? Do you know what this is gonna do to me? It's gonna ruin me!
Manslaughter, of course.
He held onto the keys all this time?
Manslaughter if he continues to cooperate. Murder if he doesn't.
It was an accident! I didn't mean to kill her!
Add the charge of violent sexual offender to either one.
We had a deal. He was gonna look after me again. We had a deal!
Mr. Premier, he did take care of you.
He betrayed me.
He lied for you. All this time, he pinned everything on Sam Draney to save your sorry ass.
You said that somebody kept those keys.
Somebody did. Michelle. She took them from you while you were raping her, you pig.
Yeah! Rip it up.
All those kids looking to make a change in their lives. What they get.
Just wish I knew everything we'd done was worth it.
What do you mean?
Well, if we'd left it alone, hadn't chased it down, how many of them would still be alive today?
Andrea. Draney.
No loss there.
What about his daughter, Judy Osborne? She tried to protect her son.
Raymond Myers, but he deserved it.
Okay. So all that collateral damage, was it worth it?
It's her job.
Gotta get the bad guy.
What is wrong with you people? Of course it was worth it.
We solved murders. Michelle, Billy, Kenny.
It is our job. And we're damn good at it.
Ah, youth. I'll tell you, though, who does kick ass. Michelle and Billy. 15 years later, they rise up out of an unmarked grave and nail those bastards.
Yeah, Billy with his boots and Michelle with the keys. It's Michelle and Bill.
Michelle and Billy.
Michelle and Billy.
Okay. Hi. I'm going to get the hell out of this room.
Let's finish this off at Dick's.
Excellent,
Good idea.
excellent idea.
I'll be there in a little bit.
Don't wait too long.
Okay.
Dear Mom, I hope you and Dad are doing okay. Life goes on as normal here at Ambleton. Sometimes it's not so bad a place. I almost don't mind being here. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but sometimes me and Billy sneak out late at night just to be alone. We go out near the soccer field and just lay down and talk. If you look straight up at the sky, you can't see the fences or the walls, and it's like being back home. Billy said something cool last night. He told me that all the stars we're looking at have been dead for thousands of years. It's just that they're so far away, it takes that long for the light to reach us. It made me think. I hope life is like that. That it goes on long after you die, and that one day, me and Billy will be like those stars, still shining long after we're gone. Well, it's just what I was thinking. Love you, Mom. Michelle.
Yeah. Who is it?
Hey.
Oh, Jesus. Come in. You look worse than I do.
Thanks.
Are you all right?
I am now. Yeah, just feeling kind of lonely.
Yeah. Let me get you some coffee. Okay. Allie, whoa. Where'd that come from?
Well, I just want you to know that I've been kind of out of my head lately, but I'm okay now.
Okay, so no more Russians.
No.
No more nation hopping of any kind.
No. As long as you promise me no more massages from Ashley.
You got yourself a deal.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
You know what?
What?
I only have a couple more hours till I have to go to work.
A couple hours?
Okay.
Oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, boy.
My poor little girl.
He killed my daughter. And I voted for him.
A lot of people did, Mr. Ripley. Well, thank you, Sergeant McCormick. Thank you for finding out the truth. Michelle. She meant a lot to us. Thank
Hey.
Oh, not so loud.
Thanks.
For what?
I just gave my 2 weeks' notice. I'm starting at the coroner's office.
Well, so? Thank Laura.
She told me, so thank you. I'm not just some secretary anymore.
You never were just some secretary. It's the nastiest job in the department, you know.
I know. Hey.
So how'd it go with the family?
Okay. Good news, bad news, you know. What's that?
Lila Hedges and Fiona Dalton. 2 prostitutes found murdered back in '96. This is Ruby Walsh.
My husband killed them.
Pardon me?
Back when he was married to me, I knew he was doing stuff. Bad stuff. He killed those 2.
Well, I'll leave you to it. Excuse me.
Christine, can you see Ms. Walsh into interrogation 1, please? I'll be right with you.
Can you follow me, please?
It doesn't stop, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, I remember Lila Hedges. That was the first call to the scene. She couldn't have been older than 19.
Okay, well, why don't you talk to your boys at Homicide, see what they can dig up.
Okay.
Mickey, when Christine gets back, could you get her started on a forensics breakdown? I'm gonna have a chat with this woman, find out why she waited till today to rat out her husband.
I get you close and I better when it's not I get away and you find out it's right.